Hey there everybody, welcome back to more Adventures of Rob and Lloyd. Realize it has been a couple of weeks since I last played this, so just as a bit of a refresher about what's going on right now, since we are not actually in ancient Egypt, young Master Lloyd here has been petitioned on the behalf of Mrs. Garfield to find, well, not only a very important gemstone, but also her missing fiancé, Kyle Lockwood, or Rockwood. Yeah, I think that might be right. And through a bit of investigating, we found that the local museum has been taking part in some nefarious activities, such as fabricating pieces of history, almost making, let's say, artificial antiquities to put on the front of their museum, while on the back end, they are selling them off in secret auctions. Now, we were able to make our way into one of those auctions, but sadly, we were not able to get the gemstone we were looking for. Instead, I think the evil Colonel Doyle, the antagonist we aren't really super familiar with just yet, managed to break his way in and steal off with the curator of the museum, and I think a guy who has most of the answers right now. I mean, the good thing is we were able to find Mrs. Garfield's fiancé, the rather dashing and debonair Kyle Lockwood, or Rockwood. I keep on messing his name up. It might actually be Lyle, for all I know. But yeah, we found him safe and sound after finding some very dangerous museum alligators. Maybe this was supposed to be an exhibit at some point, and they wanted to keep in the theme of the Nile here with some of these dangerous Nile crocodiles. But yeah, we managed to fight off all of them and free our friend here. And it did actually strike me that for our next little bit of puzzle, we are going to need an additional item from him. That's right, he had this little bag of coins here that I think he had managed to scrounge up in the hopes of solving the mystery of the Sphinx, I guess. But since he's not really going to be going on any adventures anytime soon, he's more than happy to give it over to Robin here to try to make our way further into the pyramid. And that does indeed go into pretty much where we left off last time, which is, we need to get inside the Sphinx to get up to the large pyramid there. And the root of that is this little pharaoh's head here. Now, by taking a closer look, you can actually see what appears to be a little slot here in the forehead. And it's, strangely enough, big enough to fit a coin. Or actually, no, that's not a coin. Maybe I'm just dumb. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be a lever. Because when we pull this lever, it starts a little bit of a slot machine here, and I think the idea here is to try to get the eyes to match up in a reasonable fashion. But they are going pretty quick, so there is a way to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Because you might also recall last time around, we did find something of interest in Mr. Rockwood's tent. And that is a flask of mysterious liquid. Now if we give that to the statue, it becomes very bashful and inebriated. And while that could be good if we were trying to chat up the pharaoh's head here, it's more beneficial to us because it does slow down the rotation of the slots by quite a bit. So I think the idea here is we want to get the eye that is just facing straight forward. There we go, there's one. Yeah, I suppose we could go for some of the other sets of eyes, but I don't really think they'll work. yet again, it seems to be... I doubt this was the actual Sphinx from Egypt, that they managed to steal that to try to auction it off. This was just meant to be a larger exhibit, possibly, but it could also just be a super secret base for, I guess, the evil curator of the museum. But as opposed to last time, things are going to get a little bit, let's say, Lara Croft-esque here. Because as seemingly is popular with ancient Egyptian pyramids, there are a whole lot of booby traps and dangers just waiting inside here. Such as Indiana Jones-esque large boulders, and yeah, the camera angles here don't really do this section a whole lot of benefit. There are just all types of bad angles, and the camera just kind of flips around. And I wish I could say that there is a solid pattern I can figure out with this, but I don't want to say it's random. I just want to say it's not super clear. Which it does make me feel a little bit bad, because I think this game was meant for children. So the fact that I can't get through pretty simple puzzles is a bit depressing. But I'm going to blame it on the controls, because that's what everybody does, right? Also, while the boulder just kind of rolling over you is not an instant kill, I think if it drops straight down onto you, it does just instantly kill poor Robin. But after a little bit of hard work, we have managed to get through that, only to be introduced to yet another puzzle. Yeah, it looks like there are some missing sections here and these bits of hieroglyphics, and we are not going to be able to get past this till we manage to find those. The good thing is I do happen to know where they are, and they're on the one other path that was pretty much available to us at the start of the pyramid. Also, as per usual, just a really rocking soundtrack throughout the game here. Especially as I was replaying just to get back to this section, I was honestly very struck by just how well all the sound work and all the music really goes with this game. But yeah, so we are greeted by a barred off area here, and what appears to be a little statue. And as with pretty much, let's say, 70 to 80% of the stuff in the game that we can investigate, the statue does hold a secret for us. Might be here. Yeah. And what do we find inside but, I think, a lever. Let's go ahead and give that a try. So it doesn't open this gate, but you can kind of tell behind this initial little gate here that there is a secondary gate that has now closed. And there was one other way we could go, which was just straight down the hallway here. We find another familiar looking statue. And if we keep going further down, yet another gated area with what I think is supposed to be a sarcophagus just right on the other side. So let's go ahead and check out this statue. As you can probably guess, there is another hidden mechanism within inside of it. Also, I don't really feel like these are true to form ancient Egyptian statues, so it kind of goes into the idea that these are probably just more weird fabrications on the part of the museum. Good thing for us is that none of these hidden compartments are in strange areas like with the guardian statues that were at the front of the museum. So all these switches are going to be in the exact same areas. The main problem is trying to figure out the right combination to use, because yeah, pulling that lever did cause a very close gate to close. But it also caused one of the blockages here to be opened up, though it just revealed the fact that we do have this secondary gate to get through. So the question is, which path is going to be the right path to try to finagle our way through, because we do have to use a very particular combination of lever pulls here to make our way through the hallway, and one of the hallways is a very, very, very long red herring, and one of them is fairly short. And it's actually the shorter hallway that we need to go down. Let's try to pull this lever again. See how quickly we can make our way through this, I'll say, time-consuming trap. Yeah, that gate is still up. And I'm assuming that the gate that was over here is going to be back down, yeah. But yeah, going back to the idea that this is very much a kid's game, I can definitely see it within the difficulties of the puzzles here. They're not super in-depth or brain-breaking affairs like you might find in, I don't know, a highlights magazine. It's more, you know, I think I might have mentioned previously, just kind of smooth sailing, I suppose. But yeah, I think I might actually have to go a bit deeper down the other pathway, just because I think to open up that secondary gate in the back there, well, I'm gonna have to find another statue with another set of levers inside of it. But I think with that particular switch pulled, yeah, our pathway here is more opened up. Right around the corner, yeah, another statue. I think, actually, yeah, that's it. I guess I was misremembering about the length of the hallway. But still, I hate to break it to you, but outside of the mummy in the coffin here, in the sarcophagus, there's honestly not that much of interest. Outside of the living dead, ooh. But yeah, I'm not looking for my mummy or my daddy. I'm looking for, well, that sounded like a grindr profile, didn't it? But no, we're not looking for a dead person. We're looking for some way to solve our next puzzle. But we only have one other statue to deal with that can help us get through some of these other puzzles, or get through that final little hurdle we need for the other sarcophagus. Let's see where it puts us whenever we manipulate this switch. It's wide open, which is good for us. Nope. So is that down? I think that's down because of statue that's around this corner here. You know, I actually feel kind of bad because the first time I was doing this puzzle, I feel like it took me 10 minutes to actually understand what the hell was going on. In retrospect, playing it now, even though I don't really fully 100% remember the solution, I still feel like it's honestly shouldn't be that complicated. Especially since it's, what, all of 3 possible, switches to manipulate. That is up. Hey, there we go. I'm a baby genius. And instead of finding another cadaver in here, we find a set of tiles. And they just happen to go exactly with the other puzzle that we are needing to solve after we'd gotten past all those dangerous boulders. There's Squeaks. And his little baby Chico squeaking at my feet. But yeah, I'd say overall that solving the mysteries of the pyramid is a bit more action-oriented. After we solve the puzzle with this door here. Some of these I think are going to be fairly easy to figure out. So going through our available tiles. There we go, second page. So this is the body here. Go there. And this has two lines going through it, though they're more off to the right, and these are more centered. That one. Those are pretty centered. That one's pretty centered. Let's see. Let's go here. Yeah, that matches up. It means that the other one with some lines going through it should go here. So that just leaves whatever's going on between these two. Now, it looks like this particular gentleman here is holding a vase with some lines going out on the left-hand side. Or at least it should be the left-hand side of the tile. Not that, should be that. And by process of elimination, last tile should go in our last available spot. Ta-da! I'm still smarter than a child. But yeah, last time, as we were fully introduced to Colonel Doyle, we were also introduced to his army of henchmen in their very odd, half-and-half looking outfits. Well, it might seem initially we are in a whole ton of danger here, while with an army of Eggmen just ready to gun us down. Well, the good thing is I'm pretty dexterous and can probably hopefully get through the situation without getting too myrtleized. And while Colonel Doyle is a pretty fearsome foe, his underlings, as pretty common within everything, his underlings are kind of stupid. They are numerous, but stupid. Yeah, what they lack in intelligence, they make up for in numbers, and yeah, their little grape guns do hurt a little bit. But the idea here, I think, is to try to whittle down their numbers as quickly and meticulously as possible without getting overwhelmed with what they're firing back at you. Also, as you can imagine, the controls don't really do any kind of favors here. That's pretty much, as previously mentioned, I guess. The crocodile, I'd say the crocodile fight was a little bit more dangerous than this one, but yeah, still, if you're not used to the fact that you can't stop moving while firing, you can definitely start to run into a whole lot of bullets. But now that Robin has completely murdered everything in his path, he's elated, obviously. His bloodlust has been temporarily sated. But more importantly, it does put us one step closer to solving the mysteries of the pyramid. And when I say it puts us one step closer, I think we are very, very close to being done with this chapter of the game. Also, I have no idea where those guys went. I'm sure they just walked off in shame, but for us, we are now finally outside, top of the world, or at least at the... Were we not actually in? I assume we were inside the pyramid. It's really insane to have made just such a large facsimile of a pyramid underneath the museum. But looking at all the other stolen goods down here, I begin to think more and more that this was more just a secreted away hideout place for the museum creator to hide away all the stolen goods. Like this solid gold elephant here. Real secrets with that outside of, I think Robin is starting to pick up on the fact that what we saw in the museum were really bad copies of these. Like, I remember this one, if you touched it back in the museum, it started to do a wacky dance, but I don't really feel like the original here is going to do that. But that also means that that gem we were looking for could actually be down here. Man, this is so much better than the facsimile up in the museum. I don't assume this will have some ejector seat capabilities. Not to say that I don't respect the work of the sculptor that made the one in the museum, it's just, yeah, these are a lot better quality, I'd say. It's kind of want to look at that statue of Venus, but that's fine. What do we have here? A case. What do we have inside? Well, if I was looking at it from the right direction, we could see that it was the gemstone we were looking for. The problem is that finding a gemstone is one thing, getting out of this horrible museum is another matter. Especially now that Colonel Doyle has managed to find us in his very large and very imposing drill tank. And while I have no doubts that Robin can easily take care of any small underlings just running around on the ground, or I guess a whole cadre of museum gators, I don't know how well he's going to fare against a huge tank. I'm sure Colonel Doyle here, well, he's had enough of all these shenanigans from the interloping Robin Lloyd. Just how is Robin going to get out of this one? Why, it's good old Butlock. Yeah, we haven't seen this little pupper in quite some time, and he comes in just in the nick of time with Robin Lloyd's sweet, tricked-out vehicle. And this should hopefully be a good defense against that super huge tank. Now, I think this is giving I suppose a choice in the control scheme. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is. I mostly stayed with this one. And it's mostly because the car handle's a little bit weird. It has a whole lot of extra momentum that means we're gonna be drifting around a lot. I mean, at least in our case, it's... Ow. I need to remember the controls because I'm going to get fucking murdered here. Alright, there we go. But yeah, the car handle's very strange. So yeah, basically the car has a gas that's attached to the X button. The square is to shoot, but to turn is just kind of left and right on the D-pad, so you kind of have to face your car in the direction you want. And I don't know, it's cumbersome, to say the least. I'm very glad they don't decide to use this mechanic more that I've seen, just because it's kind of terrible. But yeah, it's not Colonel Doyle's final form in Metal Gear Tank here. So we bring it back down to half health. It does get, I think, a little bit faster, probably a little bit more maneuverable. Actually, maybe it stops moving at all and just becomes a stationary turret. Nope, it still moves. I'm dumb. This isn't good. War of attrition. That was unnecessarily close, but managed to defeat the boss of the chapter. That means we should now be able to get this gemstone and Garfield's fiancée safely back to her. Yet again, just really bringing to mind the misadventures of Tron Bonne and Mega Man Legends, just where after going through a fairly straightforward dungeon, you then take care of a boss and everything is gravy and you go back to your little hub world. And much like every stereotypical evil villain from an anime, Colonel Doyle does manage to get away in his busted down tank. And yeah, he's gonna get you next time, Gadget. Just really feels like I know there was a kind of introductory one-issue manga made for this, But it feels like there was so much other lore and backstory that was supposed to go along with this game that they just never decided to make. So maybe you're already supposed to know about Colonel Doyle's relationship with Robin and, you know, the Garfield Foundation and how, you know, their philanthropy and rich background and things like that, but yeah, that's as far as I know. There's really nothing more to that than this game and that one manga. So all these characters, they're just pretty much limited to this one outing. Yeah, as Robin Lloyd, I guess, is very British. He's having a spot of tea. And while you might think that the museum curator is comedically making his quiet getaway, we definitely know he is back there. So yeah, there's no getting away from this, fat man. But yeah, all's well that ends well. The Seoul Museum and all of fake anime London here has gone out of business. With that business being selling fake artifacts. And everything is right as rain, I suppose. I'm sure that coronation for the new leader of this nation will just go along swimmingly, and Butler the dog is drinking a cup of tea. And wouldn't you believe it, that this game actually only has 2 whole chapters. We've managed to finish, I think, over the first half of the game right now. In fact, I almost want to say the second chapter is shorter than this one. Yeah, Robin Lloyd isn't going to get much in the way of rest and relaxation. After solving the mystery of the museum, it will be all too quickly that he'll be forced upon into another amazing adventure. As to whether or not I'll be covering that, that's a bit up in the air, just because I think that will require a little bit more effort and translation work on my part, and what I did so far has been a bit haphazard. I do fully understand. I mean, even for a child's game, I have a very low-end understanding of Japanese. I do appreciate, though, the particular YouTube commenter that did do a translation of everything from before. Hopefully they will feel inclined to do it for this video as well, and maybe I can add in those subtitles after the fact. We'll just have to see. For now, though, we are just going to go ahead and finish out this video. I think there won't be too very much more with this dialogue here, covering, I think, what is just leading into the next final chapter of the game. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this quick, small look at just the first chapter in the Adventures of Robin Lloyd. Hopefully I'll have something a bit more put together next time. I just kind of want to, show off this game rather quickly, though I managed to not do so. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you will join me next time for whatever it is I decide to do, and I will see you then.